Go live. It's live. Welcome to post-game number 2 of the season. I'm with my guy Richard from Sacktown Royalty, with my guy John from 10th year seniors. We're gonna have a variety of opinions tonight, and I know both guys have different opinions, so this should be fun. I'll kind of moderate the whole thing. But before we continue, this episode is presented by Climb Society Folsom. The grand opening is about 2 weeks away. Follow them on Instagram for the latest updates. You guys don't want to miss this, man. It's an amazing machine. It's going to get you guys in shape, and it's non-impact. Again, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this. Guys, the Kings lose 122 to 112. I'm going to start off with you. Initial thoughts. It's kind of ugly, right?
It's a little bit ugly. Not having Bagley tonight, we've already seen there's a lack of identity amongst the big man on this team. It's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt right away. I feel like we're going back and forth with Dedmon and Holmes. Who is the linchpin of this defense? We saw Bielitsa at center. We saw Harrison Barnes at center. It's hard to know what's going on defensively.
Your initial thoughts, real fast.
What issues and what they're going to produce.
And I think that's where Harry Giles is potentially missing, and he could be a big spark to this team. We don't know what his condition is, how long. They keep saying it's a day-to-day type thing. That's a bit frustrating. But I want to talk about the backcourts. Both backcourts played well tonight. That was one of my keys to the game. De'Aaron Fox stepped up today. We saw the year 3 Fox that we've all expected, right? 28 points, was in attack mode, was hitting threes. What do you think happened?
I mean, comfortable. That was the biggest thing. Like, he decided he was going to play his game.
Right.
In Phoenix, he just looked, like you said, scared, timid, too
Trouble.
passive.
Right.
This one, he said, no, I'm going to play my game and make sure that I run the team how we run, quick, fast.
I thought he was disengaged from the very tip-off, because you had Buddy Hield bringing up the ball like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, why is De'Aaron on the wing? Like, that's not how this team functions. And you brought up a great point about point guard play and how you see Corey Joseph potentially initiating the offense, because you think Bogey should be more of the off-guard, catch-and-shoot type guy, right?
I do think that. We all love Bogdan Bogdanovic in this city. He's a tremendously, listen, in the world we love him, right? Serbia loves this man. He's doing all types of work for them. But, we saw it all last season. He tends to over-dribble. He tends to force passes that aren't quite there. When they're down, when they start getting down, he'll just put it up. And, sometimes that goes well, sometimes it doesn't. However, I don't really want to see him dribble down the shot clock, dribble the air out of the ball. And Corey Joseph coming into the mix this year, I think that works really nicely, because we saw in a lot of those possessions when Joseph and Bogdanovic were coming off the bench together, Joseph would bring the ball down the court, Joseph would initiate, but his first look is to Bogdanovic. I just spoke with Corey Joseph about this in the locker room.
He did.
That's exactly what he told me. He said, yeah, I'm going to initiate this offense, but my first look is going to be to Bogey. And that, to me, that makes sense. You got your primary initiator, secondary initiator, and, that to me is going to be more smooth than Bogey dribbling, looking for a shot or forcing something.
Joseph looked a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I know both you and I were very critical of him last game.
He looked way more comfortable. He looked like he was more into the game, and like you said, Bogey's a great playmaker off the ball. Like, that's what he needs to do the best. That's what he did best with Serbia. Create off the ball, because if he's moving around, his offense is clicking, and he had a good game today. He didn't show up against Phoenix, but today, as everyone's going to say, don't lose faith or hope yet, because if those two start clicking in the second unit, then Sacramento's bench is going to have the depth that it needs to be able to stay in games and make runs.
How bad is the defense, guys? Just seriously, they allowed 122 points tonight. Just what can they do to potentially
score
fix
123?
There you go. That's one way.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I feel like the man-to-man defense is there on the perimeter. It's going to be a question of interior defense. Can you lean on Bielitsa to be your center? Can you lean on Harrison Barnes to be your center? I think not. Something you said to me during the game, do we see Richaun Holmes starting soon?
I thought he was going to start today. Like, I honestly thought, especially last year when he played in Phoenix, he was a great backup to Aiden.
And I thought he outplayed a lot of the
Yeah,
time, just in the effort.
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing. He's always on 100. He's always on 100. He's going to get you those effort rebounds, those effort blocks. He may get a little silly foul here or there, but I think you need that type of energy on the court when you have a Fox, when you have a Heel, that they'll feed off that.
And in an odd way, it makes more sense with Bagley out because Bjelica being in the starting lineup means you're going to have that floor spacing. It would never have made sense to have Bagley and Holmes together because
No way. That'd be awful.
But if Bjelica's in there, maybe that combo makes a lot of sense.
De'Aaron Fox said something interesting. He said, I don't think our defense was the cause of us losing tonight. It was the turnovers that led to really bad transition defense. And as he said, every team is difficult to stop in transition. Do you think it was a little bit of that, or was it just bad defense and he's just trying to sugarcoat it?
Dame Doll is pretty good. Like he came
You know what
up,
I mean? Like,
he came up clutch
he has
when
a
had
point
to
though,
come up.
because the Kings had a lot of turnovers tonight.
Yeah.
A little column A, a little column B, right?
Okay.
You can't stop Dame,
Right.
but you also...
Nobody can stop Dame. Though.
Right, exactly.
Fair.
No one's going to stop Dame, but you also can't expect to get stops on the interior with, Bjelica. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be too hard on Bjelica. I like Bjelica. I think he's super valuable with his ability to space the floor. I think he's a super smart player. I think his chemistry with a lot of these guys is great. Returning player, returning starter. I mean, we don't really think of him like that.
Right.
But he absolutely is that. Just don't play him as the only big man on the floor in the sun.
Physicality alone isn't going to work for him because, like I said, he's always running around, so he's going to get tired, and it's not a good. You need a big man.
And it doesn't seem like he's in the best shape. But enough about Bjelica. Dedmon, I thought he was really bad today. He played 21 minutes, 3 of 9, 8 rebounds, 6 points. He had a lot of turnovers. He had 2 critical turnovers, back-to-back plays, and then a foul on Damian Lillard, which essentially is like a third turnover because you gave up 2 free throws. Talk about that, Richard. Should he just, are the Kings ready to move on and start Holmes, or what's the deal there?
So it's interesting because Dedmon has been the starting center. He was paid to be the starting center.
Right.
The starting center for the Sacramento Kings is averaging 17.5 minutes a game. That's weird, right? 14 minutes in game 1, 21 minutes tonight. That's not normal. And I'll say he's been bad. He's had a couple of bad games, but to me it hasn't been the type of bad that I feel like is a done deal. I feel like it's the type of bad that falls within that regression of, these are off games, he's going to have on games. If a guy's going to have a couple off games, it's probably going to come his first 2 games of a season with, a lineup that's in flux. It's not that unexpected to me.
I mean, we were talking earlier, and we were like, 0-4, start worrying. But do you really start worrying because you're going to go on the East Coast and play the Knicks, and then you're going, you're going to see what the team's made of. Like maybe they need to just go away from home from a while. And
that's what happened last year, right?
Yeah, and see what's clicking.
And they get Charlotte here next week, right?
Yeah.
We can have, it's not too far away.
So, like I say, you could start 0-4 in basketball and you still make the playoffs. It isn't like the NFL, you have 16 games.
And going back real quick before E-Man gives us questions, it's a mindset type thing. If the Kings truly believe that they're a playoff team and all these tough teams are coming into town, you have to be like, we're going to beat them.
Yeah.
Like, we're a playoff team, right? Like, you can't be like, oh my God, we got the Nuggets, we got the Jazz. Like, that's not the right mindset to have, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, you go to win every game.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I messed up a little bit asking Corey pretty much that exact question. Like, tough matchup tomorrow. You're flying out to Utah, playing a tough team.
Right.
Is this going to be another loss? He's like, of course not, man.
That's the right attitude.
I've been in the league 8 years. Like, I will never sit here and tell you that this game is going to be an L before we get in there.
And every player is going to tell you winning is hard.
Right.
It isn't an easy thing. If it was so easy, everyone would win.